What if one drunk text to the wrong number turned into the love of your life? But what if that person was dangerous? Like really dangerous? This is the story of how one broken heart led to the most intense, unexpected romance you've ever heard. Stick around because this gets wild. The screen blurred through Amara's tears as she tried to type out the message she'd been mentally drafting for the past 3 hours. Her hands trembled, making it even harder to see the keys properly. She'd been sitting on her best friend Chioma's couch for what felt like an eternity, a half-empty wine bottle on the coffee table. Her heart shattered into a million pieces. 3 years. 3 entire years of her life spent with Marcus, who she'd just caught kissing his coworker in the parking lot of their favorite restaurant. Not just any restaurant either, but the one where they'd had their first date. Where he'd first told her he loved her. The universe really had a twisted sense of humor. Just send it already, Chioma urged from across the couch, her own wine glass dangling from her fingers. Seriously, Amara. Rip off the Band-Aid. That man doesn't deserve another second of your time or tears. Chioma was right. Amara knew she was right. So she pressed send on the message before she could second-guess herself, then immediately hurled her phone across the room like it had personally betrayed her. Done, she announced, reaching for the wine bottle with shaking hands. I never have to see Marcus's lying face or hear his pathetic excuses ever again. I'm completely done with men. All of them. I'm going to become a nun or something. Pretty sure nuns don't drink this much wine, Chioma said with a slight smile, but then her expression changed completely. Oh no. Oh, Amara, no. What? Amara looked up from her aggressive pour. What happened? Chioma had retrieved Amara's phone from where it landed near the TV stand. She was staring at the screen with wide eyes. Girl, you sent that message to the wrong number. The words took a moment to register. Then Amara's stomach dropped somewhere around her feet. What do you mean, wrong number? The number is off by 1 digit. Just 1 single digit. Chioma turned the screen toward her. And whoever got it has already responded. Amara grabbed the phone, reading the message with growing horror. Wrong number, but I'm definitely intrigued. Who chose who over you? And more importantly, are you free tonight? The sender's name showed up as unknown. Oh my God, Amara whispered. Oh my actual God. I just sent my breakup text to a complete stranger. A complete stranger who apparently finds you interesting, Chioma pointed out, reading over her shoulder. That response is actually pretty smooth. Bold, asking if you're free tonight right off the bat. This cannot be happening. Amara was already typing an apology, her fingers moving frantically across the screen. I'm so sorry. That message wasn't meant for you. Please just forget you saw it. His response came through almost immediately. Why would I forget the most interesting message I've gotten all year? Tell me about him. The guy who was stupid enough to lose you. Okay, he's either incredibly bored or a serial killer, Amara said, showing Chioma the message. Or maybe he's actually interested. Chioma refilled both their glasses. Look, what's the harm? You're never going to meet this person. Might as well vent to a stranger. It's basically free therapy. Against every instinct telling her this was a terrible idea, Amara found herself typing back. 3 years together. Caught him cheating tonight. With his coworker who he swore was just a friend. Classic, right? The response came quickly. Me guess. He said you were overreacting. That it didn't mean anything. That she came on to him. Amara actually laughed through her tears. All of that. Plus it just happened. And you're being unfair. How did you know? Because men are predictable. An idiot. You're better off without him. Everyone keeps saying that. Doesn't make it hurt any less right now. No, but it makes the revenge fantasy more satisfying. What's his name? I know people. 1 call and his car mysteriously develops serious engine problems. 2 calls and his credit score tanks. 3 calls and he wakes up in a completely different state with no memory of how he got there. Amara stared at the message, genuinely unsure whether he was joking. Chioma, reading over her shoulder, burst out laughing. Okay, this guy is either legitimately dangerous or has an amazing sense of humor, Chioma said, topping off the wine again. Either way, I'm thoroughly entertained. Ask him which one. Amara typed, "Are you being serious right now, or is this just your way of cheering me up?" Little bit of both. But seriously, if you want him inconvenienced, I can arrange that. If you want him to actually suffer, that requires more planning. If you want him to disappear entirely, we'd need to discuss payment options. You're insane. I prefer the term helpful. There's a difference. So what's it going to be? Door 1, 2, or 3? Despite everything, despite the tears still drying on her cheeks and the ache in her chest, Amara found herself smiling. This complete stranger was ridiculous and possibly dangerous, and definitely not someone she should be texting at midnight while wine-drunk and emotionally destroyed. I just want him to regret it. To realize what he lost. To see me happy without him and know he messed up completely. Boring but healthy, I'll give you that. Fine. We'll do this the mature way. Step 1. Stop crying over someone who doesn't deserve your tears. Step 2. Get dressed up and go somewhere that makes you feel amazing. Step 3. Post photos looking incredible and completely unbothered. Step 4. Block him on everything so he can't respond or grovel. This is the path to real revenge. You've done this before. I've seen it done. Both correctly and incorrectly. Trust me, the revenge of living well beats any car keying or social media drama. Plus it's legal, which is always a bonus. Who even are you? Someone who appreciates a good wrong number. And someone who hates seeing people waste their time on idiots who don't value them. Now, important question. Have you eaten anything today? The question caught Amara completely off guard. What? Food. Have you consumed any actual food today? Or have you been crying and drinking wine on an empty stomach? She hesitated before typing the second one. That's terrible self-care. You need to eat something. What's nearby? I'll have food delivered. You can't just order me food. I don't even know you. That's exactly why you should let me. No ulterior motives, no expectations, no strings. Just one stranger making sure another stranger doesn't make herself sick with grief and cheap wine. It's expensive wine, thank you very much. My apologies. Expensive wine. The point still stands. Give me your address and I'll send food. Amara should have said no. Should have thanked him politely for the distraction and stopped responding. But something about his messages, the mixture of humor and genuine concern, made her type out her address before she could overthink it. Got it. Food will be there in 30 minutes. But hydrate, get some sleep. Tomorrow you start the process of becoming too good for the idiot who lost you. Why are you being so nice to a random stranger? 'Cause I can. Because you clearly need someone to be nice to you right now. And because something tells me you'd do the same thing for someone else in the situation. He was completely right about that last part. Thank you. Really. This actually helped tonight. Anytime. Literally anytime. You have my number now. Use it if you need to. I don't even know your name. And based on the message you accidentally sent, you're Amara. Nice to meet you, even under these circumstances. Nice to meet you too, Jean Woo. Thanks for being my unexpected therapist tonight. My pleasure. Now go wash your face and wait for your food. And Amara, he's an idiot. Anyone who would cheat on you deserves exactly what's coming to him. The food arrived exactly 30 minutes later. Amara opened the door to find a delivery driver holding enough Thai food for at least 3 people, along with a handwritten note in strong, neat handwriting. Hydrate. Sleep. Tomorrow you start forgetting he exists. JW. Chioma watched Amara read the note, her eyes wide with surprise. Okay, I take back what I said about him being a serial killer. That's actually really sweet. Slightly stalkerish because he somehow knew your favorite Thai place, but mainly sweet. How did he know? Amara wondered aloud, opening one of the containers to find her absolute favorite dish staring back at her. This is too specific to be a coincidence. Maybe he just got lucky. But Chioma looked uncertain. Or he's very good at research, which is either romantic or terrifying, depending on how you look at it. Amara's phone buzzed with another message. Did you open it? Eat the pad thai first. It's better when it's fresh. And before you start wondering, I called the restaurant and told them to send their most popular items. Lucky guess on my part. She took a photo of the spread and sent it back. You sent enough food for an entire week. This is incredibly generous. Thank you. Consider it an investment in your recovery process. Can't have you forgetting to eat while you're busy becoming your best self. Is this what you do? Rescue people through wrong number texts. First time, actually. You're special. Don't let it go to your head. That night, Amara fell asleep with her phone next to her pillow, the conversation with Jean Woo still open on her screen. For the first time since catching Marcus with that woman, she didn't cry herself to sleep. Morning light filtered through Chioma's curtains, and Amara woke up to a message waiting for her. Morning. How's the hangover treating you? She smiled despite the slight pounding in her head. Manageable. The food definitely helped. Thank you again for that. You're welcome. So what's the plan for today? Wallowing or moving forward? Amara thought about it for a moment. Marcus had texted her 17 times overnight, each message more desperate and pathetic than the last. She'd read them once, felt absolutely nothing except mild annoyance, and decided Jean Woo had been right about blocking him completely. Moving forward. Starting with blocking my ex on everything. Excellent choice. What else is on the agenda? Grocery shopping. Laundry. Very exciting post-breakup activities. Boring but necessary. After that, I don't know. Probably more wallowing if I'm being honest. Wrong answer. After that, you're getting dressed up and meeting me for dinner. Amara stared at the message, her heart rate suddenly picking up. What? Dinner? You me somewhere nice. Consider it part of your recovery process. You can't start moving on without actually leaving the house. I don't even know you. You could literally be a serial killer. If I was a serial killer, I had your address last night and did nothing with it. That should count for something. Plus, serial killers don't usually pay for expensive Thai food. Usually. I'm joking. Mostly. Look, I'll meet you somewhere public, your choice of restaurant. You can bring your friend as backup if it makes you feel safer. One dinner, no expectations. Just two people who met under strange circumstances sharing a meal. Why would you want to do this? 'Cause I'm curious about you. 'Cause you seem interesting. And because something tells me you need a distraction from obsessing over the idiot who cheated on you. He had a point. And her curiosity was definitely winning over caution at this point. Fine. One dinner. But I'm picking the place and Chioma is definitely coming. Jill. Send me the details. I'll be there at 7. Amara spent the entire rest of the day oscillating between excitement and complete terror. What was she thinking, agreeing to meet a stranger from a wrong number text? This was literally how people ended up as cautionary tales on true crime podcasts. But something about Jean Woo felt safe, despite not knowing anything about him except his name and his apparent generosity with Thai food. She trusted him, which was either good intuition or post-breakup insanity. Only time would tell which. I cannot believe you're actually doing this, Chioma said while helping her pick an outfit that evening. Meeting a man who could literally be anyone. You're coming with me. Safety in numbers, remember. True. And if he turns out to be attractive, I'm taking full credit for encouraging this. She held up a red dress. This one. You look absolutely stunning in it, and it says, I'm over my ex and thriving. It says, I'm trying way too hard. Exactly. Which is perfect for a first meeting with a mysterious stranger. Chioma tossed the dress at her. Put it on. We're leaving in an hour. Amara chose a restaurant she knew well, upscale but not pretentious, public but with enough atmosphere for actual conversation. Safe territory where she could leave quickly if things got weird. Reservations at Azuro for 7. Table for 3. Jean Woo's response came quickly. You there. And Amara. Wear something red. I have a feeling you look incredible in red. Amara looked down at the red dress Chioma had picked out, then back at her phone. Okay, that's either psychic or he's somehow watching me, and I'm not sure which possibility is more concerning. Maybe he looked at your social media and saw you in red before? Chioma suggested, though she looked worried too. Amara checked her Instagram. Private account, no recent photos in red anywhere. Nope. Lucky guess number 3 then. This guy is either extremely intuitive or extremely creepy. Let's find out which. The restaurant was packed when they arrived just before 7, the Friday night crowd already well into their meals and drinks. Amara smoothed down her red dress for probably the 100th time, her nerves making her hands shake slightly. You look absolutely beautiful, Chioma said, squeezing her hand reassuringly. And if this guy turns out to be a creep, we're leaving immediately. I already have my pepper spray ready. You brought pepper spray to dinner? I brought pepper spray to meet a man we know through a wrong number text less than 24 hours ago. This is just basic safety protocol. She scanned the restaurant carefully. Do you even know what he looks like? Not a clue. He didn't send a photo. Of course he didn't. Very mysterious and, oh my God. Chioma's grip on Amara's arm suddenly tightened. Please tell me that's him. Amara followed her gaze to a corner table where a man sat alone, and her breath completely caught in her throat. He was watching them, watching her specifically, with an intensity that probably should have been unsettling but somehow wasn't. Dark hair styled perfectly, sharp cheekbones, a jawline that could cut glass. He wore a black button-down with the sleeves rolled to his forearms, revealing intricate tattoos that wrapped around both arms. When he stood as they approached, Amara realized he was tall, easily over 6 feet, with a build that suggested either serious dedication to fitness or a physically demanding job. Everything about him screamed danger and wealth in equal measure. Amara, he said, and his voice was exactly what she'd imagined from his texts. Deep, confident, with a slight Korean accent that made her name sound like something beautiful. You wore red. Lucky guess, she managed, though her voice came out shakier than intended. Educated guess. You strike me as someone who looks good in bold colors. His dark eyes traveled over her with obvious appreciation. I was absolutely right. And you are. Chioma inserted herself between them, full protective mode activated. Because my friend here has had a terrible few days, and if you're planning anything sketchy, you should know I have pepper spray and zero hesitation about using it. Chioma, I presume. Jean Woo's lips curved into a smile. I'm Jean Woo Park. And I promise you, my intentions are purely friendly. The way he said friendly suggested otherwise, but his eyes held genuine warmth. Please both of you sit. I took the liberty of ordering wine. I hope Chianti works for you. They settled into their seats, Chioma positioning herself strategically between Jean Woo and Amara like a human shield. Up close, he was even more devastating. Dark stubble along his jaw, full lips, and those eyes that seemed to see right through any pretense. So, Amara said, needing to break the tension that was building. Jean Woo Park. What do you do when you're not rescuing drunk, heartbroken women through wrong number texts? Various things. Vague, but said with enough charm to make it sound mysterious rather than evasive. Import and export, some real estate, various investments. Boring business stuff, honestly. Import and export. Chioma's tone was immediately suspicious. That's extremely vague. It's extremely boring, he corrected smoothly. Which is why we're not going to discuss it. Tonight is about Amara, not me. Tell me about this Marcus who was stupid enough to cheat on you. Amara took a large sip of wine before answering. 3 years together. I genuinely thought we were solid, building something real. Turns out I was the only one who thought that. He'd been seeing his coworker for 6 months behind my back. 6 months. Jean Woo's expression darkened noticeably. That's not a mistake or moment of weakness. That's a choice. Multiple choices, made repeatedly over half a year. That's exactly what I said. Chioma jumped in. One time, maybe that's genuine weakness in a bad moment. 6 months. That's just being a complete asshole. Exactly right. Jean Woo's hand moved across the table, covering Amara's briefly before withdrawing. The contact was brief but left her skin tingling. So now the real question is, how do you want to handle this? The mature high road or more satisfying revenge? You gave me the mature option yesterday, Amara reminded him. That was yesterday. Today I'm more interested in what you actually want versus what you think you should want. He leaned forward slightly, his attention completely focused on her. So tell me honestly, Amara, if you could do anything to Marcus right now, consequences completely aside, what would it be? Amara thought about it, the wine and his unwavering attention making her bolder than usual. I'd want him to see me genuinely happy. Not just fake happy for social media, but actually truly happy without him. I'd want him to realize exactly what he lost and know he can never get it back. That's actually very mature, Chioma observed. I was honestly hoping you'd say something involving his car and a baseball bat. That's plan B, Jinwoo said, and something in his tone suggested he wasn't entirely joking. But Amara's plan is much better. More effective long-term. So here's what we're going to do. Amara raised an eyebrow. You need to move on, be happy, show Marcus exactly what he's missing. He paused, seeming to consider his words carefully. A distraction. Something interesting to focus on. Someone interesting. We help each other out. That sounds suspiciously like a proposition, Chioma said, still in full protective mode. It's a proposal, not a proposition. There's a difference. Jinwoo's eyes never left Amara's. I'll take you out, show you a good time, help you remember what it feels like to be truly valued and appreciated. You provide interesting company and help me avoid the numerous women my mother keeps trying to set me up with. Mutually beneficial arrangement. You want to fake date me to avoid your mother's matchmaking? Amara tried to process this. Not fake. Real dates, real time spent together, real connection. Just without the pressure of it being serious or long-term commitment. You're recovering from a relationship. I'm actively avoiding one. We both benefit from this arrangement. It was completely insane. Agreeing to this with a man she'd known for less than 24 hours went against every rational thought in her head. But something about Jinwoo made her want to say yes. Made her want to be bold and reckless for once in her carefully planned, safe life. What's the catch? She asked carefully. No catch. Just honesty between us. I like you, Amara. You're interesting and real and not trying to impress me or manipulate me into something. That's incredibly rare in my world. He took a sip of his wine. So what do you say? Want to spend the next few weeks having fun and forgetting Marcus exists? Yes, Amara heard herself say. Yes, let's do this. Chioma kicked her under the table. Can we talk privately for just a second? Of course. Jinwoo stood gracefully. I'll give you two a moment. Order whatever you want, by the way. It's all taken care of. Once he was out of earshot at the bar, Chioma grabbed both of Amara's hands. Girl, are you out of your mind? You don't know this man at all. I know. It's completely crazy and probably stupid. But Chioma, when was the last time I did something spontaneous? Something just for myself, just because I wanted to. Amara looked over at where Jinwoo stood by the bar, somehow making even that simple action look elegant. He's offering me a distraction, a way to actually move on and feel good about myself again. Why shouldn't I take it? Because he could be dangerous. Because he's clearly hiding something with that incredibly vague, import and export job description. Because you literally just got out of a relationship. With a man who cheated on me for 6 months straight. Amara squeezed her friend's hands. I'm not looking for love or commitment, Chioma. I'm looking for fun. For feeling wanted and valued instead of betrayed and stupid. Can't I just have that for once? Chioma studied her face for a long moment, then sighed deeply. Fine. But I'm running a complete background check on him tonight. And you're sharing your location with me at all times. And if anything, and I mean anything, feels wrong or off, you call me immediately. Deal. Deal. Jinwoo returned with fresh drinks and an easy smile. Everything okay? Everything's fine, Amara said. Though fair warning, my best friend is definitely going to background check you tonight. Smart friend. She'll find I'm relatively clean. Mostly. That dangerous smile again. Now let's order some actual food. I'm starving, and I want to hear more about what Amara does when she's not accidentally sending breakup texts to wrong numbers. Dinner passed in what felt like a blur of incredible food, excellent wine, and surprisingly easy conversation. Jinwoo was charming without being smarmy, interested without being invasive, funny without trying too hard. He told stories about growing up in a traditional Korean family that had Amara laughing until tears ran down her face, asked thoughtful questions about her work as a graphic designer, and even managed to make Chioma warm up to him by the end of the night. I like you, Chioma announced halfway through her third glass of wine. You're actually good for her. Just please don't make me regret saying that. I wouldn't dream of it, Jinwoo assured her sincerely. Amara's very lucky to have a friend who's this protective of her. When the check came, he paid before Amara could even reach for her purse. That's not negotiable, he said when she protested. Consider it part of our arrangement. I take you out, I pay. That's how this works for me. That's very old-fashioned. I'm Korean. We're traditional about certain things. He stood, offering his hand. Walk you both to your car. Outside, the night air was cool and crisp, refreshing after the warmth of the restaurant. Chioma walked slightly ahead, giving them some space while staying close enough to intervene if needed. I meant what I said in there, Jinwoo said, his hand finding the small of Amara's back naturally. You're interesting, Amara. I'd really like to see you again. Tomorrow if you're free. Tomorrow's Saturday. Don't you have import and export things to handle? There was a slight edge to her voice, curiosity mixed with suspicion about his vague job description. Nothing that can't wait or be delegated. They stopped at her car, and he turned to face her fully. Lunch tomorrow. Somewhere casual and relaxed. I'll pick you up at noon. You don't know where I live. You gave me your address yesterday for the food delivery. His smile was slightly wicked. I have an excellent memory. That's a little bit creepy. That's very practical. He reached out, tucking a strand of her hair behind her ear in a gesture that was intimate without being presumptuous. Say yes, Amara. Let me show you a good time. Let me help you forget Marcus ever existed. She should have said no. Should have taken time to think about this properly, to run that background check Chioma mentioned, to be sensible and cautious like she always was. Instead, she found herself saying, yes, noon tomorrow. But Jinwoo, yes. If this turns out to be some elaborate scheme to murder me and wear my skin as a suit, I'm going to be extremely disappointed. His laugh was genuine and warm, reaching his eyes. I promise not to murder you or wear your skin. Those are definitely off the table as options. Good to know where you draw your ethical lines. He leaned in closer, and for a breathless moment Amara thought he might actually kiss her. Instead, he pressed his lips gently to her forehead in a gesture that was somehow even more intimate than a real kiss would have been. Good night, Amara. Sleep well. Tomorrow we start the process of making you completely forget Marcus ever existed in your life. Later that night, lying in bed and staring at her phone, Amara saw his last message waiting. Thank you for taking a chance on me tonight. I promise to make it worth your while. Sweet dreams. Her phone buzzed with an incoming email. The background check from Chioma. She'd actually gone through with it already. Amara opened it, scanning the results with growing surprise. Jinwoo Park, 38 years old. Owner of multiple successful businesses across the city. Real estate portfolio worth millions. No criminal record, though his name appeared in several sealed case files that required much higher clearance to access properly. The last line of the report made Amara's breath catch in her throat. Subject has known connections to organized crime. Proceed with extreme caution. She should have been terrified. Should have blocked his number immediately and never looked back. Instead, she found herself smiling in the darkness. Dangerous distraction indeed. Amara woke up to 17 missed calls from Marcus and one text from Jinwoo. Good morning. Coffee order. I'll pick it up on my way to get you. She ignored Marcus's calls completely. She'd blocked him on social media the night before, but apparently hadn't gotten around to blocking his actual number yet. That would be remedied immediately. Iced vanilla latte extra shot. How did you know I need coffee to be functional? Lucky guess number 4. See you at noon. Wear something comfortable. Chioma called while Amara was trying to decide between jeans and a casual sundress. Please tell me you read the background check I sent you. I read it. Amara put the call on speaker, holding up both outfit options to her mirror. And yes, before you say it, I know what it said about organized crime connections. And you're still planning to go out with him. Amara, it specifically said organized crime. It said connections to organized crime. That's different. She chose the sundress, casual but still cute. Lots of people in this city have connections to various things. Doesn't automatically mean they're directly involved in anything. That's rationalization, and you know it. But Chioma's voice was more concerned than angry. Just promise me you'll be careful. Keep your location shared with me, check in every hour, and for God's sake, don't go anywhere completely private with him until we know more about who he really is. I promise. Though honestly, if he wanted to hurt me, he had my address last night and did nothing except send amazing Thai food. That has to count for something. Serial killers can be patient and play long games. You really need to stop watching all those true crime documentaries. And you need to start being more cautious. But Chioma was laughing despite herself. Fine. Go on your date with the possibly dangerous man. Just text me when you get wherever you're going. I will. And Chioma, if he does turn out to be involved in organized crime or something, at least make sure he's hot enough to make the risk worthwhile. Girl, I've seen him. He's definitely hot enough to justify some risk. Jinwoo arrived at exactly noon, driving a sleek black car that probably cost more than Amara's annual salary. He got out to open her door for her, old-fashioned in a way that should have felt dated but somehow felt thoughtful and considerate. Iced vanilla latte, extra shot, as requested. He handed her the coffee with a smile. He was wearing dark jeans and a black t-shirt that did absolutely nothing to hide his muscular build or the extensive tattoos covering his arms. In the daylight, she could see more details. Intricate Korean script, geometric patterns, what looked like a traditional family crest on his forearm. You're staring, he observed with clear amusement. Your tattoos. They're very extensive. Family tradition. Each one tells a specific story. He started the car, pulling smoothly into traffic. Maybe I'll tell you about them someday. Someday implies this is going to last beyond a few casual dates. I'm optimistic about us. No hesitation. How was your night? Any regrets about agreeing to this arrangement? Amara thought about the background check, about Chioma's warnings, about the sealed case files. Should I have regrets? Depends. Are you the type to let fear of unknown possibilities prevent you from experiencing something potentially amazing? He glanced at her briefly. Because I get the distinct feeling you've been playing it safe for quite a while now. Being careful, following all the rules, avoiding any real risk. How's that worked out for you so far? I ended up with a cheating boyfriend, so not particularly well. Exactly my point. So maybe it's time to try something completely different. Be reckless. Take some real risks. See what happens when you stop playing it safe all the time. His hand found hers on the console between them. I'm not saying I'm not dangerous, Amara. Definitely am. But not to you. Never to you. That's exactly what someone dangerous would say to gain trust. True enough. But I'm also being completely honest with you. He squeezed her hand gently before releasing it. Chioma ran a background check on me last night, didn't she? Amara didn't bother trying to deny it. How did you know? Because she's a genuinely good friend who cares about your safety. I'd actually be disappointed if she hadn't done it. He turned down a street Amara didn't recognize. What did it say? That you're very wealthy and have connections to organized crime. Amara watched his face carefully. Care to elaborate on that second part? My family has been in this city for 4 generations. We know people, have established relationships with various organizations. Some completely legitimate, some significantly less so. I don't personally engage in criminal activity, but I can't control who my relatives choose to associate with or do business with. Carefully worded, probably rehearsed multiple times. Does that scare you? It probably should, Amara admitted honestly. But after 3 years with Marcus and his betrayal, a little danger actually sounds refreshing. His laugh was surprised and genuinely delighted. That's either very brave or very reckless of you. You told me to be reckless. I'm just trying it out. I like it. I like you being reckless. He pulled into a parking lot at a marina. Come on. I have something I want to show you. The marina was absolutely beautiful. Boats of all sizes bobbing gently in their slips, the water sparkling in the afternoon sunlight. Jin-woo led her down a dock to a sleek white yacht that practically screamed luxury and wealth. "This is yours?" Amara asked, though the answer was obvious. "One of my various investments. I thought we could take it out for the afternoon. Nothing too far, just cruising along the coast. Private, peaceful, perfect for getting to know each other without constant interruption." He helped her aboard with practiced ease. "Unless you'd prefer somewhere more public with more people around." Amara should have said yes. Should have insisted on staying where there were witnesses and other people. Instead, she heard herself say, "This is actually perfect." The yacht was as luxurious inside as it looked from the outside. Leather seating, a full kitchen, a bedroom she deliberately tried not to think too hard about. Jin-woo handed her a life jacket with an amused smile. "Safety first. Can't have you falling overboard on our second date." "Is that what this is officially? A date? What else would it be?" He secured his own life jacket, then moved to start the engine with practiced ease. "You me beautiful weather a boat. Definitely qualifies as a date in my book." As they pulled away from the dock, Amara quickly texted Chioma their location and a photo of the yacht. Chioma's response was immediate and all caps. "Are you insane? You're on a boat in the middle of the ocean with a man connected to organized crime. This is literally the plot of every thriller movie ever made." "Relax, I'm fine. He's being a complete gentleman. We'll check in every hour like I promised." "You better. I already have 911 pre-dialed on my phone." Amara put her phone away and moved to where Jin-woo stood at the wheel, the wind whipping through his dark hair, sunglasses hiding his eyes. He looked like something straight out of a magazine, dangerous and beautiful and completely in his element. "You know how to operate a boat?" she asked, immediately feeling stupid for such an obvious question. "I know how to do a lot of things." He slowed the yacht once they were far enough from shore, then engaged the autopilot. "Come here. Let me show you." He guided her to stand in front of him, his arms bracketing her as he showed her the various controls. Amara was hyper-aware of his body against her back, the heat radiating from him, the way his breath stirred her hair when he spoke close to her ear. "This controls the speed. This handles steering. This is the autopilot, which we're using now so I can focus entirely on you instead of not crashing into anything." His hands settled on her hips, warm through the thin fabric of her sundress. "Tell me something, Amara. Why did you really say yes to this? To my proposal and to coming on this boat? Which answer do you want? The one about your arrangement or the boat specifically?" "Both. Complete honesty." Amara thought about it, really thought about Marcus's betrayal, about 3 years of playing it safe and following every rule and still ending up hurt, about being boring and predictable and apparently easy to cheat on. "Because I'm tired of being so careful all the time. Tired of doing everything right and still getting hurt. Because you're interesting and dangerous and everything I've been told my entire life to avoid. And because something about you makes me want to be reckless and wild for once in my life." "That's a very good answer." His lips brushed against her neck, not quite a kiss but close enough to make her shiver. "Want to know why I said yes to this? Why I pursued you? Because you need someone to help you avoid your mother's matchmaking attempts. That's the convenient excuse I told you. The real truth." He turned her around to face him properly, and she had to tilt her head back to meet his eyes. "Because when I received that text, when I read all that pain and anger and determination in your words, something in me recognized something in you. Someone who's been hurt deeply but refuses to stay down. Someone strong enough to walk away from something that wasn't serving them anymore. That's incredibly rare, Amara. And beautiful. And I wanted to know you. That's extremely smooth for someone who claims he doesn't date seriously. I don't. Not seriously, not in years. But something about you made me want to try again." His hand came up to cup her face gently. "I'm going to kiss you now. If you don't want that, tell me to stop." Amara didn't tell him to stop. His kiss was nothing like she expected. Not aggressive or demanding, but patient and thorough, like he had all the time in the world. He kissed her like learning the taste and feel of her was the only thing that mattered in this moment. His hand slid into her hair, angling her head to deepen the kiss, and Amara melted completely into him. When they finally broke apart, they were both breathing hard. That was... Amara couldn't find adequate words. Yeah. He rested his forehead against hers. It definitely was. They spent the afternoon on the yacht, talking and laughing and occasionally kissing in ways that made Amara forget Marcus had ever existed. Jin-woo was charming and funny and surprisingly easy to talk to. He asked questions that showed genuine interest, shared stories that made her laugh until her sides hurt, and touched her with a casualness that suggested comfort rather than presumption. "Tell me about your tattoos," Amara said, tracing the intricate script on his forearm. "You said they all tell stories. This one," he indicated the family crest, "represents my family name and our legacy. A constant reminder of where I come from and what I represent. These," he touched the script on his fingers, "are the names of people I've lost. My father, my grandfather, a cousin who died far too young. This," he touched his chest through his shirt, "is my mother's favorite prayer. She made me promise to have it tattooed directly over my heart. You're very close with your mother. Extremely close. She drives me absolutely crazy with the constant matchmaking attempts, but she means well. She just wants me to be happy, settled, eventually give her grandchildren." He smiled ruefully. "I keep telling her I'm not ready for that, but she thinks I've been mourning for too long." "Mourning what?" "My fiancé died 4 years ago. Car accident." His expression shuttered briefly, pain flickering across his features. "She was driving to meet me for dinner when someone ran a red light and hit her car. She died on impact instantly." His voice was carefully controlled. "I blamed myself for an extremely long time. If she hadn't been coming to see me, if I just picked her up instead of asking her to drive herself, that wasn't your fault. You couldn't have known. Logically, I understand that now. But grief isn't logical or rational." He pulled her closer. "Her death changed me fundamentally. Made me much more careful about who I let close to me. Made me realize that in my particular world, caring deeply about someone makes them an automatic target. That's why I haven't been serious about anyone since her. It felt too dangerous, too risky. But you're willing to take that risk with me. You're different. Worth the risk." He pressed a kiss to her jaw. "This is probably completely crazy, right? We barely know each other at all. Absolutely crazy. But sometimes the crazy choices end up being the ones worth making." His phone buzzed insistently, and he glanced at it with a visible frown. "I need to take this call. Business that can't wait. Give me 5 minutes." He moved to the other side of the yacht, speaking in rapid Korean that was far too fast for Amara to follow even if she understood the language. But she caught certain words that sounded urgent. "Problem. Handled. Tomorrow." When he returned, his expression was carefully neutral, professionally blank. "Everything okay?" Amara asked, concerned. "Fine. Just a work issue that needs my attention tomorrow." He settled beside her again. "But today is entirely about you. About us. Work can definitely wait." As the sun started to set, painting the sky in brilliant shades of orange and pink and purple, Jin-woo guided the yacht smoothly back toward shore. The afternoon had been absolutely perfect, almost too perfect. Like a fantasy she might wake up from at any moment. "Thank you for today," Amara said as he helped her carefully off the boat. "This was genuinely unexpected. Good unexpected or bad unexpected. Very, very good unexpected." She stood on her toes to kiss him. "When do I get to see you again?" "Tomorrow night. Dinner somewhere nice and upscale. I want to properly show you off." His hand found hers naturally. "And Amara, delete Marcus's number completely. Block him on everything. He doesn't deserve to have any piece of you anymore, not even digital access. Understood?" The command in his voice should have bothered her, should have triggered some kind of independence protest. Instead, it felt protective, like safety. Understood completely. On the drive back to her place, Amara's phone buzzed with yet another text from Marcus. "We need to talk. I made a terrible mistake. Please just hear me out for 5 minutes." She showed Jin-woo the message at a red light without thinking. His jaw tightened visibly, a muscle jumping. "What do you want me to do about him?" he asked quietly, dangerously. "Nothing illegal," Amara said quickly, suddenly nervous. "That's not what I asked you." His eyes met hers, dark and intense. "Do you want him gone completely? Scared enough to never contact you again? Actually hurt? Just say the word, Amara. He hurt you deeply. That requires consequences of some kind." The casual offer of violence should have terrified her, should have sent her running. Instead she felt protected, safe, valued. "Just make him leave me alone permanently. Whatever it takes to make him understand that I'm completely done. Consider it handled." He pulled into her apartment complex. "I'll call you tomorrow. Sleep well, beautiful." That night Marcus's number mysteriously stopped working entirely. When Chioma checked for Amara, she discovered his social media accounts had been hacked and locked. His car had somehow accumulated a boot for unpaid tickets that hadn't existed yesterday, and his work computer had been infected with a virus that corrupted all his files. "Did you do this?" Amara texted Jin-woo. "Do what specifically?" "You know exactly what I'm talking about. I have absolutely no idea what you're referring to. But hypothetically, if someone were to strongly discourage your ex from contacting you ever again, wouldn't that be a good thing?" "Hypothetically, yes." "Then hypothetically, you're very welcome. Sweet dreams, Amara." Amara fell asleep smiling, feeling safer than she had in years. 1 week. That's exactly how long it took for Jin-woo Park to completely upend Amara's entire life. 7 days of dinners at restaurants where reservations normally required months of advance notice, but he somehow always had a perfect table waiting. 7 days of morning texts that made her smile before she'd even had her coffee. 7 days of feeling desired and valued and cherished in ways Marcus had never managed in 3 entire years together. 7 days of falling hard for a man who was definitely dangerous and quite possibly involved in organized crime. "You're literally glowing," Chioma observed during their weekly brunch ritual. "It's disgusting and I'm happy for you and also deeply, deeply concerned. I know it's moving fast. Fast. Amara, a week ago you were crying over Marcus. Now you're dating a man who may or may not be involved with the Korean Mafia, and looking at him like he personally hung the moon and stars." She took a long sip of her mimosa. "I'm not judging. Well, I'm judging a little bit. But mostly I'm just worried about you. I'm being careful, I promise." "Are you though? Because from where I'm sitting, you're diving headfirst into something that could be extremely dangerous." Chioma's expression softened with genuine concern. "I just don't want to see you get hurt again. Or worse than hurt. Jin-woo would never hurt me. You don't actually know that. You've known him for exactly 1 week, Amara. 7 days. People can hide who they really are for much, much longer than that." Chioma had a valid point. Amara knew that intellectually. But something about Jin-woo felt fundamentally right in a way nothing with Marcus ever had. Like pieces of a puzzle finally clicking perfectly together. "I know it sounds completely crazy. Trust me, I know how this looks and sounds. But Chioma, when I'm with him, I feel genuinely alive for the first time in years. He makes me laugh, makes me feel beautiful and valued, makes me want to take risks I've spent my whole life carefully avoiding." She met her friend's eyes directly. "Isn't that worth something? Isn't that worth taking a chance?" "It's worth something, definitely. Just promise me you'll be smart about this. No moving in together after 2 weeks. No getting engaged after a month. No doing anything that would make me have to identify your body later. That's extremely dark." "That's realistic given his background and connections." But Chioma was smiling despite her words. "Okay, fine. I officially support this reckless phase you're going through. Just keep me constantly updated and share your location at all times." Amara's phone buzzed with a new message. "Missing you. What are you doing tonight?" She showed Chioma the screen. "He wants to know about tonight. Brunch with Chioma. No plans after that. Change of plans. Pack a bag for the weekend. We're going away." "He wants me to go away with him for the weekend," Amara said, slightly breathless. "Away where exactly?" "He didn't specify. And you're going to go?" To an undisclosed location with a man you've known for 7 days. At Amara's expression, Chioma sighed deeply. Of course you are. At least tell me where once you know, so I can send the police to the right place when you inevitably get murdered. Where are we going? Amara texted back. It's a surprise. But somewhere beautiful and completely private. Just you and me. Yes, Amara. What should I pack? Something comfortable and something fancy. I'll pick you up at 5. He's being deliberately mysterious, Chioma observed. That's either very romantic or very serial killer behavior. You really need to stop with the serial killer references. And you need to start being more cautious. But Chioma was already helping her mentally plan outfits. If you're going to do this, at least look absolutely amazing while doing it. Jinwoo arrived at exactly 5 o'clock, driving a different car this time. A sleek silver sports car that probably cost more than Amara's student loans. He looked casually devastating in dark jeans and a fitted black Henley that showed off his build and his tattoos perfectly. Ready for an adventure? He asked, taking her bag and loading it smoothly into the trunk. Ready as I'll ever be. Are you going to tell me where we're going? And completely ruin the surprise? Absolutely never. He opened her door with that old-fashioned courtesy. Trust me, Amara. You're going to love this. The drive took nearly 2 hours, heading north along the beautiful coastline. They talked about everything and nothing. Her design work, his various businesses, music preferences, embarrassing childhood stories. With every passing mile, Amara felt herself relaxing further, the comfortable intimacy between them growing naturally. Can I ask you something? She said as the sun started its descent. And will you give me a completely honest answer? Depends entirely on the question. But his tone was serious. Are you in the Korean Mafia? He didn't answer immediately, his hands tightening almost imperceptibly on the steering wheel. What would you do if I said yes? I honestly don't know. That's why I'm asking. I need to know what I'm actually getting into here, Jinwoo. What being with you really means in practical terms. That's fair enough. He pulled off the highway onto a smaller, more secluded road. The complete truth. My family has deep, established connections. Very deep connections to organizations that operate significantly outside the law. I don't personally engage in criminal activity on a daily basis, but I absolutely benefit from the protection and substantial resources those connections provide. Does that make me complicit in their activities? Probably yes. Does it make me an actual member? Well, but it makes me adjacent enough that the distinction doesn't really matter to most people or law enforcement. So you're Mafia adjacent. That's one way to describe it, yes. He glanced at her carefully. Does that fundamental reality change things between us? Amara thought about it, really thought about it seriously. The smart, safe thing would be to say yes, to end this before she got in way too deep. But when she looked at Jinwoo, she didn't see a criminal. She saw someone who'd been nothing but kind and generous and protective since the exact moment she'd accidentally texted him. No, she decided firmly. It doesn't change things. But I need you to promise me something important. Anything. If your world gets genuinely dangerous, if being with you puts me in actual real danger, you have to tell me. You don't hide it or try to protect me from the truth by keeping me in the dark. I need complete honesty from you, Jinwoo. That's absolutely non-negotiable. Deal. Complete honesty, always. He brought her hand to his lips, pressing a kiss to her knuckles. And Amara, thank you. For what? For not running away immediately. Most women would have by now, the moment they found out. I'm not most women. I've definitely noticed that about you. His smile was warm and genuine. We're almost there now. The destination turned out to be a stunning private beach house, all glass and sleek modern architecture, perched dramatically on a cliff overlooking the ocean. It was absolutely stunning and perfectly remote and exactly the kind of place someone could murder you without any witnesses around. This is yours? Amara asked as he parked. Borrowed from a close friend. I thought we could use somewhere completely private to really get to know each other properly. No interruptions, no outside expectations, no pressure. Just us. He came around to open her door carefully. But if you're not comfortable staying here, we can absolutely go to a hotel instead. Your choice entirely. Amara looked at the beautiful house, at Jin Woo's hopeful expression, and made her decision. This is absolutely perfect. The interior was as beautiful as the exterior promised. Minimalist furniture, floor-to-ceiling windows showcasing the ocean view, a kitchen that would make any professional chef weep with envy. Jin Woo gave her a complete tour, showing her the guest room where she could stay if she wanted her own space, before leading her to the master bedroom with its massive bed and private balcony. "I'm sleeping here," he said, setting his bag down. "You're welcome to join me or take the guest room. No pressure either way. I just want you completely comfortable. I'll take the guest room. For now," she added silently. "But thank you for giving me the option." "Of course." He moved closer, his hands finding her waist naturally. "I'm going to start making dinner. Do you want to help or would you rather relax?" "I'll help. I'm actually pretty good in the kitchen." "I bet you're good at a lot of things." The heat in his voice made her stomach flip. "Come on then. Let's cook together." They made fresh pasta from scratch. His grandmother's traditional recipe, he explained, passed down through multiple generations. Working beside him in the kitchen felt natural and intimate, their movements synchronized like they'd done this hundreds of times before instead of this being their first time. "You're really good at this," Amara observed as he rolled out dough with practiced, confident ease. "Italian grandmother on my mother's side, Korean family on my father's. Cooking is survival in both cultures." He dusted flour playfully on her nose. "Plus I find it genuinely relaxing. When work gets particularly stressful, I come here and just cook for hours. It reminds me there's more to life than business and obligations and problems." "What else do you do to relax besides cooking?" "This. Spending quality time with someone genuinely interesting." His eyes met hers directly. "You're the very first person I've ever brought here, Amara. This place is my private sanctuary, my escape. The fact that I wanted you here, wanted to share the space with you, that means something significant." "What does it mean exactly?" "It means I'm falling for you. Hard and fast. Simple, direct, devastating. I know it's incredibly fast. I know we've only known each other 1 week. But I genuinely can't help how I feel. You've become critically important to me in a very short time." "Jin Woo. You don't have to say it back to me. I'm not asking you to or expecting it. I just wanted you to know exactly where I stand with you." He turned back to the pasta. "Now set the table, please. Dinner's almost ready." They ate on the balcony, the sound of waves crashing dramatically below, stars beginning to emerge brilliantly in the darkening sky. The food was absolutely incredible, the wine was perfect, and the company was even better than both. "Tell me about your family," Jin Woo said over dessert. "You never mention them at all." "Not much to tell, honestly. Dad left when I was 8. Mom remarried when I was 12 to a guy who was fine but never really interested in being any kind of father figure. I have a half-brother I barely know or see. We're not close at all." She swirled wine thoughtfully in her glass. "Chioma's more family than my actual family ever was or will be. That's why you two are so close. She chose you and you chose her back. That's real family." He reached across the table, finding her hand. "I understand that completely. My biological family is complicated. Lots of expectations and obligations and pressure. But the family I've chosen for myself, the people I actually trust, they're absolutely everything to me. Am I part of that? Your chosen family. Getting there quickly. Very quickly." His thumb traced slow circles on her palm. "Do you want to be?" "I think so. But Jin Woo, I need to know something else. What happened to your fiancée? You mentioned she died, but you didn't explain how." His expression shuddered slightly, pain flickering across his features. "Car accident. She was driving to meet me for dinner when someone ran a red light and hit her car directly. She died on impact, instantly." His voice was carefully controlled, each word measured. "I blamed myself for an extremely long time afterward. If she hadn't been coming to see me, If I'd picked her up instead of asking her to drive, if I'd chosen a different restaurant. It wasn't your fault. You couldn't have known or prevented it. Logically, intellectually, I know that now. But grief isn't logical or rational. He finished his wine in one swallow. Her death changed me fundamentally as a person. Made me much more careful about who I let close to me. Made me realize that, in my particular world, caring deeply about someone makes them an automatic target for enemies. That's why I haven't been serious about anyone since her. It felt too dangerous, too risky. But you're willing to take that risk with me. You're different. Completely worth the risk. He stood, pulling her to her feet. Come on. I want to show you something special. He led her down a winding path to the beach, where waves lapped gently at the shore. The moon was full and brilliant, casting silver light across the water, making everything look magical and surreal. This is why I love this place so much, Jinwoo said, pulling her close against him. It's genuinely peaceful. Reminds me there's real beauty in the world beyond all the ugliness I deal with daily in my work. Your work is ugly. Sometimes, yes. Dealing with people's absolute worst impulses, cleaning up terrible messes, maintaining order through force when absolutely necessary. It takes a serious toll over time. His arms tightened around her. But then I met you completely by accident, and suddenly everything felt lighter. Like maybe there was something genuinely good waiting for me if I was brave enough to reach for it. That's very poetic for someone involved in organized crime. I contain multitudes. He turned her to face him directly. Amara, I know this is moving incredibly fast. I know we're moving at a pace that probably isn't healthy or smart or recommended. But I can't bring myself to slow down. Can't make myself be cautious when everything in me is screaming to claim you, to make you mine in every possible way. So claim me. The words escaped before she could think them through properly. His kiss was claiming and desperate. His hands tangling in her hair as he backed her against a large rock. She wrapped her arms around his neck, pressing closer, needing more contact, more connection, more everything. Say it again, he demanded against her lips. Tell me you want this. Want me. I want this. I want you. She pulled him closer. Take me back to the house, Jinwoo. Show me what being reckless actually feels like. The walk back to the beach house felt like an eternity. Jinwoo's hand never left hers. His grip tight with barely restrained need and want. The moment they were through the door, he pulled her against him. His mouth finding hers with an intensity that literally stole her breath. Last chance to change your mind, he murmured against her lips, even as his hands roamed her back, her waist, leaving trails of heat everywhere he touched. Because once we do this, Amara, you're mine. Completely and utterly mine. I won't be able to let you go after this. I don't want you to let me go. She reached up, pulling him down for another kiss. I want this. Want you. Stop being noble and take me to bed already. His laugh was dark and full of promise. As you wish. He swept her into his arms, actually swept her up like something straight out of a romance novel, and carried her to the master bedroom. The moonlight streaming through the massive windows painted everything in silver, making the moment feel dreamlike and surreal. He set her down beside the bed, his hands finding the hem of her dress. You're absolutely beautiful, he said, his voice rough with want. I've been imagining this since the moment I saw you in that red dress. But the reality is so much better than any fantasy. You've been fantasizing about me. Constantly. You have absolutely no idea what you do to me, Amara. He helped her remove his shirt, revealing the full extent of his tattoos. Intricate designs covering his chest and ribs, each one telling a story she wanted to learn eventually. I can't think straight when I'm around you. Can't focus on anything except how much I want you. Then have me. I'm right here. I'm yours. He made love to her slowly, thoroughly, patiently learning every inch of her body with careful attention. He was gentle when she needed gentle, demanding when she needed more, reading her responses with an intuition that suggested either extensive experience or genuine connection. Probably both. Afterward, lying tangled in sheets with his arms wrapped around her, Amara felt something fundamental shift inside her. This wasn't just physical attraction or a rebound from Marcus. This was real and terrifying and absolutely what she'd been missing her entire life. "What are you thinking?" Jin Woo murmured against her hair, his fingers tracing lazy patterns on her bare shoulder. "That I'm probably in serious trouble." She turned to face him. "That this is happening way too fast and I should be more careful and I don't care at all. That you're dangerous and complicated and exactly what I need right now. That's very honest." His hand cupped her face gently. "Want to know what I'm thinking?" "Always. That I'm completely done for. That I let you in way too fast and now I can't imagine my life without you in it. That I'd burn the entire world down to keep you safe and happy." His eyes held hers, fierce and vulnerable simultaneously. "That I love you, Amara. Completely, irrevocably, probably too much for someone I've known 1 week." Her breath caught. "Jin Woo. I know it's insane. I know normal people don't fall in love this fast. But nothing about us has been normal from the very start. Why should this be any different?" His thumb traced her lower lip. "You don't have to say it back. I just needed you to know. I love you too." The words felt right, even though they shouldn't have. "I think I started falling for you the moment you offered to have Marcus's car mysteriously develop engine problems. Maybe even before that. This is crazy and fast and probably a terrible idea, but I don't care. I love you." His kiss was claiming and tender in equal measure. "Mine," he murmured against her lips. "You're mine now, Amara. No going back from this." "Yours," she agreed without hesitation. "Completely." They spent the rest of the weekend in their private paradise, cooking together, swimming in the ocean, making love until they were both exhausted and satisfied. Jin Woo was attentive and generous, constantly touching her like he needed to confirm she was real, like he couldn't quite believe she was there with him. On Sunday morning, as they made breakfast together, Amara's phone rang. Unknown number. "Don't answer it," Jin Woo said, his voice sharp and serious. "Unknown numbers are never good news in my experience." But curiosity won out. She answered. "Hello, Amara. It's Marcus. Please don't hang up." She hung up immediately. "How did he get a new number? You said you handled it." Jin Woo's expression went cold and dangerous. "I did handle it. He must have gotten a burner phone." He stepped outside, making a call in rapid, angry Korean. When he returned 5 minutes later, his expression was carefully neutral. "It's handled now. He won't be calling again, I promise. And Amara, I need to tell you something about Marcus. Something I found out a few days ago but didn't want to ruin our weekend." Her stomach dropped. "What?" "He's not just your ex. He's connected to some people who are extremely problematic for me professionally. His father does business with a rival organization. Not high level, but connected enough to be genuinely concerning." "Wait, you're saying Marcus is involved in organized crime too?" "Not directly. But his family has significant ties. Which means your relationship with him, your breakup, it puts you in an extremely complicated position. People in my world might see you as a way to get information, leverage, access to me." He pulled her close. "That's why I had to handle Marcus so aggressively. It wasn't just about him bothering you. It was about removing a potential threat to your safety. You should have told me this sooner." "I know and I apologize. But I didn't want to scare you away before you understood that I'd protect you. That being with me, despite all the complications, is actually safer than being alone and vulnerable." His hands framed her face. "I'm sorry I kept this from you. But I'm not sorry for protecting you. What else haven't you told me?" She pulled back slightly. "You promised complete honesty, Jin Woo. What else are you hiding from me?" He was quiet for a long moment. "My real job. What I actually do beyond the vague import and export explanation. Tell me. All of it. I run security operations for several families in the city. When there's a problem, when someone threatens territory, breaks agreements, steps out of line, I handle it. Sometimes that's negotiation. Sometimes it's intimidation. Sometimes it's significantly worse. He met her eyes steadily. I'm what's called a fixer. I make problems disappear. And yes, sometimes that involves violence. Sometimes it involves making people disappear entirely. You're an enforcer. The reality of what he was saying sank in fully. You hurt people for a living. I protect people for a living. The hurting is just sometimes necessary to accomplish that. His voice was firm, unapologetic. I won't apologize for what I do, Amara. It's kept my family safe, kept order in chaos, prevented wars that would have killed innocent people. But I understand if it's too much. If knowing what I really am makes you want to walk away. She should have walked away. Should have been horrified, disgusted, terrified. But all she felt was a strange sort of understanding. Jin-woo had been honest about his world being dangerous. This was just the specific details of that danger. I need time to process this, she said finally. I need to think about what this means, about whether I can accept this part of your life long term. Take all the time you need. He kissed her forehead. But Amara, while you're thinking, remember this. I would never hurt you. Never let anyone else hurt you. Everything I do, everything I am, I'm offering to put at your service. To protect you, care for you, give you the life you deserve. That doesn't change just because you know the ugly details now. If you're enjoying this story of how one wrong number changed everything, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe for more amazing stories. Drop a comment below telling me what you think Amara should do. Should she stay with Jin-woo or run? Let me know your thoughts. They drove back to the city in heavy silence. When he dropped her off at her apartment, he walked her to her door, his hand never leaving her back. Call me when you're ready, he said. Or don't call me at all if you decide this is too much. I'll understand either way. But Amara, I meant what I said. Love you. That's not changing regardless of what you decide. She went inside and immediately called Chioma. I need to tell you something about Jin-woo. Oh God, he is in the Mafia, isn't he? Worse. He's a fixer. He handles problems for multiple crime families. Which means he's more connected than we thought and definitely more dangerous. And you're considering staying with him. Not a question. I love him, Chioma. I know that sounds absolutely insane after 1 week, but I do. And he loves me. He's been completely honest about what he is, what his world involves. The question is whether I can actually accept it. Can you? Can you be with someone who hurts people for a living? Who might come home with blood on his hands? Chioma's voice was gentle. I'm not judging either way. But you need to be brutally honest with yourself about what you can actually live with. Amara thought about the weekend. About feeling safe and cherished and valued. About Jin-woo's gentleness with her despite the violence he was capable of. About the way he looked at her like she was precious. I think I can, she said slowly. Not because I approve of violence, but because I understand that his world operates by different rules. And because he's offering me protection and devotion and love without conditions. That's worth something significant. Then I support you. But Amara, please be careful. Love makes us do stupid things. Don't let love blind you to real danger when it appears. That night, lying alone in her bed, Amara stared at her phone. At Jin-woo's last message waiting for her. I miss you already. Sleep well, beautiful. I'll be here whenever you're ready. She typed and deleted 17 different responses before settling on. I miss you too. Can we talk tomorrow? His response was immediate. Anytime. I'll come to you. Name the time and place. My apartment. 7 p.m. We'll cook. I'll bring wine. And Amara, thank you. For not running. For giving this a real chance. Means everything to me. Amara fell asleep with her phone clutched in her hand, already planning what to cook for the man she'd somehow fallen completely in love with in 7 impossible days. Jin-woo arrived at exactly 7 o'clock with wine and flowers, and an expression that suggested he'd been as nervous about this conversation as she was. She let him in, accepting the roses with a smile that felt shaky around the edges. Thank you for these. They're absolutely beautiful. Not as beautiful as you. He followed her to the kitchen, watching as she put the roses in water. Something smells amazing. Jollof rice and chicken. My signature dish. She stirred the pot, needing something to do with her hands. Wine's already poured. We should talk before we eat. Okay. He settled at her small kitchen table, looking entirely too large for the space. I'm ready. Ask me anything you need to. Amara took a deep breath, organizing her racing thoughts. I spent all night thinking about what you told me, about what you really do, and I realized I need to understand the full scope of it. Not just vague explanations. Real, specific details. What do you want to know? Everything. Have you killed people? Yes. No hesitation whatsoever. Not recently, not often, but yes. When negotiations fail completely and violence is the only language someone understands. When there's no other option. Do you enjoy it? No. Absolutely not. I'm good at it, efficient, but I don't enjoy it. It's necessary sometimes to prevent worse violence. But it's not something I take any pleasure in. What about the people you hurt who don't die? What happens to them? They learn lessons. Sometimes through intimidation, sometimes through financial ruin, sometimes through physical pain. The method depends entirely on the situation and the severity of what they've done. And Marcus, what exactly did you do to him? Jean Wu's expression hardened noticeably. I had his car impounded for fabricated violations. Had his work computer infected with a virus that exposed some questionable financial dealings he'd been hiding from his company. Had my lawyers file harassment charges that will follow him for years. And I made it crystal clear that if he contacts you again in any way, the consequences will be much, much worse. You destroyed his entire life. I removed a threat. There's a significant difference. His eyes held hers. He hurt you, Amara. That alone justified consequences. But when I found out about his family's connections, he became a genuine liability. I handled him the only way I could, thoroughly and permanently. I should be horrified by all of this. But you're not. He stood, moving closer. Because you understand that in my world, mercy is weakness. That protecting the people I love requires hard choices and harder actions. That sometimes being good means doing bad things to bad people. He was right. She understood all of that, which probably said something terrible about her. I can accept what you do, she said finally. On one condition that's non-negotiable. You keep that part of your life separate from me. You don't bring the violence home. You don't put me in danger because of your work. And you're honest with me when things get complicated. Deal. Promise, Amara. You'll never see that side of me. When I'm with you, I'm just Jean Wu. The man who loves you, who wants to build a life with you. The other stuff, that stays completely separate. Okay. She rested her head against his chest, listening to his steady heartbeat. Then I'm in. Completely. For whatever this is, wherever it goes. I love you. He lifted her chin to kiss her. God, I love you so much. I love you too. She kissed him back. Now let's eat before dinner gets cold. 2 weeks. That's how long it took for Amara's life to completely transform. She'd moved most of her things into Jean Wu's penthouse. He'd insisted, and she'd stopped pretending she wanted to keep her tiny apartment. Chioma had been skeptical but supportive, making her promise to maintain her independence even while living with him. Just because you're living with a crime enforcer doesn't mean you lose yourself, Chioma had said while helping her pack. You're still Amara. You still have your own life, your own work, your own identity separate from him. I know that. Do you? Because you've been spending every single waking moment with him. When was the last time you worked on an actual design project? She had a valid point. Amara had been so consumed with Jean Wu that her freelance work had fallen completely to the wayside. I'll get back to it. I just needed time to adjust to everything. Everything being that you're living with a man you've known 2 weeks who admits to killing people for a living. Chioma's voice was gentle but firm. Amara, I love you. But please don't lose yourself in this relationship. No matter how intense and romantic it feels. Her warning echoed in Amara's head as she set up her design station in Jean Wu's, their home office. He'd insisted she take the space, had even bought her a new computer and professional-grade equipment without asking first. You need to work, he'd said when she protested the expense. Your talent deserves the best tools available. Consider it an investment in our future. Our future, she'd noticed. Not just her future. Like he'd already decided they were permanent. Her phone rang, interrupting her thoughts. Unknown number again. She'd learned to be extremely wary of those. Hello. Amara Chen. A woman's voice, cold and professional. This is Victoria Kane, Marcus's mother. We need to talk immediately. Amara's stomach dropped. I don't think we have anything to discuss. My son is in the hospital. Severe injuries from what police are calling a random assault. But we both know it wasn't random, don't we? Her voice turned sharp. You need to call off your boyfriend. Marcus made a mistake, but he doesn't deserve this. I don't know what you're talking about. But ice flooded Amara's veins. Don't play stupid with me. I know who Jinwoo Park is. I know what he's capable of. And I know you're living with him. Pause. Call him off or I'm going to the police. I don't care what connections he has. I will not let him destroy my son. She hung up before Amara could respond. Amara immediately called Jinwoo. Did you have Marcus beaten up? Hospitalized. Silence. Then. I'm coming home right now. Don't talk to anyone until I get there. He arrived 20 minutes later. His expression carefully controlled. Amara was waiting by the door, arms crossed, needing answers immediately. Did you do it? She demanded. Did you have Marcus hurt? Let's sit down and discuss this. Answer the question, Jinwoo. You promised complete honesty. Did you do it? Yes. No apology in his voice. He called you yesterday using yet another burner phone. Told you he was going to keep trying until you agreed to see him. That's not acceptable, Amara. I made it crystal clear what would happen if he contacted you again. So you had him beaten badly enough to put him in the hospital? That's not protection, Jinwoo. That's excessive. Is it? He was escalating. Getting more desperate, more aggressive. The next step would have been showing up here at my home where you live. I prevented that. He moved closer but didn't touch her. I protected you from a man who refused to accept no for an answer. His mother called me. Threatened to go to the police. She won't. Jinwoo's voice was certain. The Kane family has too many secrets of their own. Going to the police would expose things they'd prefer to keep hidden. She's bluffing. How can you be so sure? Because I make it my business to know everything about potential threats. Marcus's father has been embezzling from his company for years. His mother has a severe gambling addiction she's hidden from everyone. Marcus himself has been dealing drugs on the side to fund his lifestyle. He finally touched her, his hands on her shoulders. They're not going to the police, Amara. They can't afford the scrutiny. You investigated them. All of them. Of course I did. The moment I found out about their connections, I had my people dig into everything. That's what I do. I gather information, identify vulnerabilities, use them when necessary to protect what's mine. His grip tightened slightly. And you're mine to protect. Always. This is too much. Amara pulled away, needing space to think. You can't just hurt people because they annoy me. That's not how normal relationships work. This isn't a normal relationship. His voice was firm. You knew that when you agreed to be with me. Knew what I was capable of, what my world involved. Don't act surprised now when I do exactly what I warned you I would do. I thought you'd scare him, not hospitalize him. I did what was necessary to make absolutely sure he never bothers you again. Would you prefer I'd been gentle? Let him keep calling, keep trying, keep thinking he had a chance. Jinwoo's eyes were hard. Because that's not how I operate, Amara. When someone threatens what's mine, I eliminate that threat completely. Permanently. No half measures. You're scaring me. The admission came out as a whisper. His expression immediately softened. I'm not going to hurt you. I could never hurt you. But I won't apologize for protecting you, even if my methods scare you. He reached for her again, and this time she let him pull her close. I love you. Everything I do is to keep you safe. Can you understand that? I'm trying. She pressed her face against his chest. But Jin-woo, you have to promise me something. No more violence without talking to me first. If someone threatens me, we discuss it. We decide together how to handle it. You don't just act unilaterally. I can't promise that. At her sharp look, he continued. If there's time to discuss it, we will. But if there's an immediate threat, I'm going to act first and explain later. That's non-negotiable. Your safety comes before everything, including your feelings about how I ensure that safety. That's not fair. Life isn't fair. My world isn't fair. And I'd rather you be angry with me and alive than happy with me and dead. He tilted her chin up. I know I'm controlling. I know I'm excessive. But I lost someone I loved once because I wasn't careful enough. I won't make that mistake again. Not with you. His intensity should have sent her running. Instead, it made something in her soften. This was Jin-woo's love language. Protection, sometimes excessive, always absolute. Could she live with that? Okay, she said finally. But you have to at least tell me after. No keeping secrets about who you've hurt or threatened or scared. Complete honesty. Deal. He kissed her forehead. Now Marcus's mother. If she calls again, don't answer. If she somehow shows up here, security won't let her past the lobby. And if she somehow does get to you, you call me immediately. Understood. Understood. She pulled back to look at him. Is this going to keep happening? People from my past becoming problems you have to handle? Possibly. Your ex's family connections make you a potential target. People might try to use you to get to me or vice versa. That's why security is so important. He moved to his laptop, pulling up footage. Look at this. These men have been watching the building for the past 3 days. The footage showed 2 men in a sedan, parked across the street, clearly surveilling the penthouse entrance. Who are they? Kane family associates. Probably trying to gather information, looking for vulnerabilities. His jaw tightened. This is exactly why I had to be aggressive with Marcus. His family sees you as leverage now. They think if they can hurt you, they can hurt me. So what do? We handle it. I'm meeting with the Kane family tomorrow, making it crystal clear that any further harassment will have severe consequences. And I'm upgrading security here. More cameras, more guards, better protocols. He closed the laptop. You won't even notice the changes, but you'll be safer. I'm not sure I can live like this. Looking over my shoulder constantly, worrying about threats I can't see. You won't have to. That's what I'm here for. You just live your life, work on your designs, be happy. I'll handle the shadows. He pulled her close again. That's what love looks like in my world, Amara. Not flowers and poetry. Protection and vigilance. Making sure the people I love can sleep peacefully while I deal with the monsters. You make yourself sound like a hero. I'm not a hero. Heroes are selfless and noble. I'm selfish and ruthless and absolutely obsessed with keeping you safe. If that makes me a villain, so be it. His lips found hers. But I'm your villain. And I'll burn down anyone who tries to hurt you. That night, Amara couldn't sleep. Jin-woo's arm was around her, his breathing deep and even, but her mind wouldn't stop racing. Marcus was in the hospital because of her. His family was watching the building because of her. She'd brought danger into Jin-woo's life just by existing in his world. I can hear you overthinking, Jin-woo murmured in the darkness. What's wrong? Maybe I should leave. Go somewhere far away where I'm not a liability to you. Absolutely not. He pulled her closer. You're not a liability, Amara. You're the best thing in my life. The only genuinely good thing I've had in years. And I'm not letting you go because some idiots think they can use you against me. But if I wasn't here, if you weren't here, I'd spend every moment looking for you, worrying about you, making myself insane wondering if you were safe. His voice was fierce in the darkness. You're not leaving. We're going to handle this together. Tomorrow I'll deal with the Kanes, and then we're going to move forward with our lives. Understood. Jin-woo. Understood. More command than question. Understood. She relaxed against him. But promise me something. If this gets too dangerous, if your enemies start really coming after me, you'll let me make my own choices about whether to stay. I promise. But she heard the lie in his voice. Jin Woo would never let her go, not willingly. She'd become too important, too essential. For better or worse, she was his now. And maybe that was okay. Maybe love that intense, that protective, that all-consuming was exactly what she needed. What she'd been missing with Marcus and every relationship before him. I love you, she whispered. I love you too. His arms tightened. More than you know. More than is probably healthy. But I can't help it. You're mine, Amara. Forever. 1 month. For weeks since she'd sent that breakup text to the wrong number and changed her entire life. Jin Woo had kept his promise about handling the Canes. Whatever he'd done at that meeting, and he'd been deliberately vague about details, which told her everything she needed to know, it had worked. No more surveillance. No more threatening phone calls. Marcus had quietly transferred to a different city for medical treatment, and his family had stopped making noise about revenge. See, Jin Woo had said when she asked how he'd managed it. Problems get handled. You just have to know the right pressure points. She didn't ask what pressure points he'd used. Some things she was learning were better left unknown. You've been quiet today, Chioma observed over their weekly lunch. They'd been trying to maintain their brunch tradition, though Amara had missed several recently. Everything okay with you and the crime boss? He's not a crime boss. He's crime adjacent. Even Amara didn't believe the distinction anymore. And everything's fine. Great, actually. He's been amazing. Amazing how? Amazing like romantic dinners and thoughtful gifts. Or amazing like making your enemies disappear. Both, if I'm being completely honest. Amara took a sip of her mimosa. Is it weird that I find the protective thing attractive? That knowing he'd literally kill for me makes me feel safe instead of scared? Yes, it's weird. It's also kind of hot, which makes us both terrible people. Chioma leaned forward. But seriously, Amara, are you happy? Really genuinely happy? Or are you just caught up in the intensity? I'm happy. And she was. Despite the complications, despite the danger, despite moving at a pace that should have terrified her. He makes me feel valued and cherished and safe. I've never had that before. Never felt like someone would actually fight for me. Marcus never fought for you because he was a coward who didn't appreciate what he had. Chioma squeezed her hand. I'm glad you found someone who does. Even if he's scary and dangerous and probably commits multiple felonies weekly. Probably more than weekly, Amara admitted. But he keeps that part separate. I know it exists, but I don't have to see it. He's just Jin Woo with me. The man who makes me coffee in the morning and asks about my design projects and holds me when I can't sleep. You're in love with him. Not a question. Completely. Terrifyingly. Probably unwisely. But yes. She met Chioma's eyes. He asked me to marry him last night. What? Chioma's screech drew looks from nearby tables. He what? After a month. That's insane. I know it's fast. Fast. Amara, you've known him 30 days. That's not fast, that's certifiable. But she was smiling despite her words. What did you say? I said yes. Amara held up her left hand, where a simple but stunning diamond now rested. I know it's crazy. I know we should wait longer, be more sensible, take our time. But Chioma, when you know. And I know I want to spend my life with him. You're getting married to a man you met via wrong number text. Chioma shook her head, laughing. This is the most insane thing you've ever done. I'm so proud of you. Really. You're being reckless and impulsive and living your life instead of playing it safe. That's growth, even if it's slightly terrifying growth. She examined the ring more closely. This is gorgeous. He has excellent taste. He has expensive taste. I tried to tell him this was too much, but he said nothing's too much for his wife. The word felt strange and wonderful on her tongue. Wife. I'm going to be someone's wife. Jin Woo's wife. Which comes with protection and luxury and probably a lot of morally questionable situations. Chioma's expression turned serious. But if this is what you want, if he makes you happy, then I support it completely. Just promise me you won't lose yourself in this. You're still Amara, with your own dreams and goals and identity. I promise. She meant it. Actually, Jin Woo's been encouraging me to pursue bigger design projects. He introduced me to some of his business contacts, and I've already landed 3 major clients. My income has tripled in the past 2 weeks. Because of his connections. Partly. But also because my work is genuinely good and these clients appreciate that. I'm not just Jin Woo's girlfriend, sorry fiancé. I'm a talented designer who happens to be engaged to a very connected man. There's a difference. They spent the rest of lunch planning a wedding that would probably happen much sooner than traditional. Jin Woo wanted to make it official quickly, and honestly, Amara didn't see the point in waiting. They were already living together, already committed. The wedding was just making official what they both already felt. That evening, she came home to find Jin Woo in the kitchen, cooking dinner and looking domestically perfect despite probably having spent his day doing things she was better off not knowing about. Hey, beautiful. He pulled her in for a kiss that tasted like wine and promises. How was Chioma? Shocked that I said yes to your proposal. Supportive but concerned. The usual Chioma response to my life choices. She wrapped her arms around his waist. She thinks we're moving too fast. We are. No denial. But fast doesn't mean wrong. I knew I wanted to marry you the moment you sent that text meant for someone else. Finding you was fate, Amara. I'm not wasting time when I know what I want. And what do you want? Ooh. Forever. Officially mine in every way possible. His hands found her hips. I want to wake up every morning knowing you're my wife. Want to introduce you as Mrs. Park. Want to build a life that's ours, not just mine or yours, but ours together. Mrs. Park. She tested the name. Amara Park. It has a nice ring to it. It's perfect. You're perfect. He kissed her again, deeper this time. I love you so much it scares me sometimes. The thought of losing you, of anything happening to you. Nothing's going to happen to me. You won't let it. She touched his face. That's what you do, right? Protect what's yours. Well, I'm yours. So I'm probably the safest person in this entire city. Damn right you are. His smile was fierce and possessive. Anyone who even looks at you wrong answers to me. You're under my protection for life now. That's what this ring means. I thought it meant you love me and want to marry me. That too. But in my world marriage is protection. It's me declaring to everyone that you're mine, that threatening you means starting a war they can't win. He turned back to the stove. Dinner's almost ready. Open the wine. The good bottle, not the everyday stuff. What are we celebrating beyond our engagement? New beginning. Fresh start. The future we're building together. He plated food with careful precision. Also, I finalized some business today that means I can step back from the more dangerous aspects of my work. Focus on the legitimate operations, spend more time with you. Really. You're retiring from being a fixer. Not retiring completely. I'll still consult, still maintain relationships and connections. But the day-to-day enforcement, the hands-on violence, I'm delegating that to people I trust. I want to be present for our life together, Amara. Want to build something beyond just surviving in a dangerous world. What changed your mind? You did. He set their plates on the table. Realizing I want a future with you made me reevaluate my priorities. The money's good, the power's useful, but none of it matters if I'm not alive to enjoy it with you. So I'm making changes. Becoming the man you deserve instead of just the man I've always been. Tears threatened. That's the most romantic thing anyone's ever said to me. Get used to it. I plan to spend the rest of our lives being disgustingly romantic with you. He raised his wine glass. To us. To wrong numbers and right timing. To finding love in the most unexpected places. To us. She clinked her glass against his. And to being reckless enough to say yes to a man I met through a text meant for someone else. Best wrong number ever sent. 6 months later, Amara stood in a simple white dress, looking at Jin Woo in his perfectly tailored suit, and couldn't quite believe this was her life. That the man who'd responded to her angry breakup text had become her husband. That the danger and complications and intensity had somehow resulted in the deepest love she'd ever known. The wedding was small and intimate, just family and close friends in a beautiful venue that Jin Woo had somehow secured on short notice. Chioma stood as her maid of honor, crying through the entire ceremony. Jin Woo's mother, who Amara had met several times and already adored, kept hugging her and calling her daughter. "You make him happy," she'd said the night before. "I see him smile again, laugh again. That's all a mother wants for her son." "I love you," Jin Woo said when it was time for vows. "From the moment you accidentally texted me, you've been the most interesting, unexpected, perfect thing in my life. You saw past what I do to who I am. You accepted my world without losing yourself in it. You made me want to be better, safer, more present. So I'm promising you now, I'll protect you always, love you completely, be the man you deserve every day for the rest of our lives." Amara was crying by the time he finished. "I love you too. You saved me when I didn't even know I needed saving. You showed me what it means to be valued and cherished and fought for. You're dangerous and protective and absolutely perfect for me. So I'm promising you now, I'll trust you always, love you completely, be your partner in everything for the rest of our lives." When they kissed as husband and wife, the small crowd erupted in applause. But Amara barely heard them. All she could focus on was Jin Woo, his arms around her, his whispered "mine" against her lips. At the reception, Marcus's name came up exactly once. Someone asked if she'd invited her ex, and Chioma had laughed. "Her ex is persona non grata. Last I heard, he's living in Seattle and has been instructed very clearly to never return to this city." "Isn't that right, Jin Woo? I have absolutely no idea what you're talking about." But Jin Woo's smile was wicked. "Though I did hear he's doing well in his new city. Much better for his health to be far away from here." Later in the car heading to their honeymoon destination, a private island Jin Woo had rented for 2 weeks, Amara leaned against her husband and smiled. "What are you thinking?" he asked, his arm around her. "That I'm glad I sent that text to the wrong number. That the worst night of my life led to the best thing that ever happened to me. That sometimes the universe knows exactly what it's doing when it throws chaos at us." Poetic. He kissed the top of her head. "Want to know what I'm thinking? Always. That I'm the luckiest man alive. That I get to spend the rest of my life with a woman who accidentally wandered into my world and decided to stay. That wrong numbers can lead to very right outcomes." His arms tightened around her. "I love you, Mrs. Park. I love you too, Mr. Park. My accidental husband. My wrong number turned right. Best wrong number in history." And as they drove toward their future, complicated and dangerous and absolutely perfect, Amara couldn't help but agree. So what did you think? Would you have stayed with Jin Woo or run? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this story, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss another amazing story. Like this video if you want more romance stories with unexpected twists. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.